Hey, what's up, y'all? This is William, the permaculture consultant, and today I'm going to be grazing my pigs in an area that I've never grazed them before, on an earthwork that I've never grazed them on before. They're going to be grazing this swale right here. There's a broken down chicken tractor that needs a replacement wheel. That's why it's leaning like that. But this swale right here is what they're going to have access to. As you can see, it's really overgrown. But I'm curious to see if they can clear it up for me without causing too much damage to the swale itself. I don't think they'll cause that much damage. And in fact, I think they're gonna be more interested on what's in the ditch part of the swale. I'm basically gonna have them graze this part, this swale right here, and then around the storage container over here. And they're gonna clear up all this mess for me. I have no idea how much damage they're gonna cause to the swale. I can mitigate a little bit of that by moving them quickly, but I also want them to clear up around this storage container. And then later they're gonna progress to cleaning up around these two buildings that are eventually gonna get renovated. Because this is going to be a demonstration site. But I want the pigs to first wipe out any snakes that are going to be, they have access to underneath the buildings on both of these buildings and then completely around them in the future. I want them to wipe out any possible snakes before I start, renovating in there. Otherwise, I'd have to wait till it starts getting cooler out, and then, that's just leaving me with a bit of a crunch time. So first things first, in moving these pigs, I need to clear an area to run the fence, and I think I should be pretty good on that. So I'm gonna set this camera up, and then I'm gonna start running the fence, opening it up to the new paddock that they're gonna get, and then I'm gonna feed them in the new paddock area, and then I'm gonna move the rest of the fence around them. So, and you could also replicate this for other animals that you might have. Like, you don't have to have pigs necessarily to replicate this at your demonstration site or your homestead or your farm. You could use anything that's really easy to manage. Granted, like some of the other animals might not get rid of the snakes like the pigs will, but you could use like sheep or cattle, and they could, wipe out some of this heavier, denser vegetation. So yeah, either way, instead of just clearing by hand and letting it all just decompose in place, I'm turning it into future protein. One cool thing about pigs, I got a bucket of feed right here. One cool thing about pigs is that I can drop this bucket of feed basically anywhere and lead them anywhere I want to on the property and expect them to actually stay put. They'll make sure that they get every little piece of crumb of feed on here before they go moving somewhere else. I forgot I need to turn the fence off. I almost got lit up, y'all. But yeah, what's cool about pigs is that they're super easy to move because they're so easily trained by just dropping some feed there, and then they're good to go. Now, considering it's already like 90 some degrees outside, I'm gonna drop this feed in an area that has get. Now, because it is already 90 degrees out, I'm gonna drop this feed in an area that has the shade option. Because I don't want my pigs getting hurt by, trying to stand out here in the direct sun and getting feed. I think today's high is like a 104 or something like that. So yeah, that's one of the downsides about pigs, is that they don't do too well in extreme heat without water, which, if you're going through a drought, can be kind of an issue. But we're not going through a drought. I have plenty of stored up water in the pond. That'll come later. So just a little side note, we have already reached a point where the camera keeps overheating. So it seems a little choppy from this point on. That's why. Alrighty, so I had to cut ahead of time. I got all the fence moved, and actually I was able to get the fence around both buildings, the storage container and the swale, and I still have 2 nests left over. So it wasn't as big of an area as I was thinking it was. But what's cool about that is it's also gonna help with this heat mitigation issue for the pigs. They're gonna be able to get underneath the storage buildings, or underneath those 2 white buildings you can see above me. They're gonna be able to get underneath there and escape from the heat. One of the downsides of some of the area in the front half of this property is that, sorry, I'm watering, I'm filling the bucket right now, so I'm leaning over the truck. One of the downsides is the lack of shade in between the buildings to the pond. So the pond is right over there. I'm just pumping out of the pond into these buckets, and that's what I use for their water, and also for like baths and stuff like that, where they can do like mud baths and stuff. Nothing cosmetic, they just don't sweat and they need to be kept cool. And like I was saying, there's very little shade between those buildings and the pond, which we're currently at. So they might actually skip an area for now and just make it on down past this pond and working in the back half of the fenced in section so far, which is right that way, that heavily wooded area, the area where I created a bunch of potential silvopasture or future silvopasture. That's where they're probably going to be grazing next, after they clear around those two buildings. But y'all, it is hot outside. It's like 10:30 out right now and it's already 90 something degrees. Yeah, and the humidity is intense. Like, the temperature isn't necessarily the bad thing. It's how humid it is outside. And then also the dew point. To my understanding, the dew point is the combination of the humidity plus the temperature, and it has something to do with like the ability of water or sweat evaporating off of your skin, actually cooling you down. And right now it's to the point where the sweat is not evaporating very well. It only feels slightly cool outside once like a small little breeze comes through. Other than that, it's just kind of hot in every direction. Now, for those of you that were curious about my camera setup before, I'm using, the phone is in my hand right now, but I was using this tripod with this umbrella on top, and it unravels just like any other regular umbrella. And even with that, plus the combination of keeping everything in the shade, the camera still overheats. There's like no, it's just hot in every direction right now. There's just no getting around it. Also, while we're waiting for buckets to fill up, if you need a consultation, then hit up the email down below. Me, Emily, and the baby June will be over at the Homesteaders United Jamboree at the end of the month. All the details are linked down below. And if you have any permaculture Q&A questions that you have, then leave them down below in the comment section with the hashtag permaculture Q&A. If you haven't seen one before, I basically answer your Q&As while on video. Basically, I make a video dedicated to your Q&As, I should say. There's a whole playlist. Some of you guys have asked questions that have already been answered before, and instead of answering them in a brand new video, maybe check out the old playlist and see if that question has been answered before. That being said, if I do get enough repeats of a particular question, then I will just put it in another video because obviously somebody of y'all missed it in the first video. There's no harm in that. I just want to make sure that the information that you guys are wanting is actually getting to you guys. So finish filling up these buckets and then we'll go water the pigs. And as you can see with these pigs, they're already starting to explore their surroundings. That's good. They're also waiting on water. So let me go ahead and get that for them. Alrighty, so I'm gonna try to give you guys this tour before this camera overheats and then I have no footage left. But right now, these pigs, just a little recap, they have access to this entire little swale right here and they're gonna help clear it up. They're already investigating some of it, some of them are. The other ones are still working on the food that I dropped over here earlier. That brown one right there, he seems to be the best boar or the best overall pig that I have, so he's probably gonna stick around for breeding stock in the future. But they're also fenced in, you can see that fence, they're also fenced in all around these buildings here. The storage container, this building right here, and then that building over there. And they're basically gonna help me clear this area, or they're gonna do most of the clearing before I go in and start renovating. That way they can go ahead and, you know, knock out all the snakes, any of the stuff like that, make a snack out of it, and then I can go in there with hopefully very little snake issues. But they'll wipe out in between there as well. Overall, just make my job easier and provide them with some decent shade, because underneath that building right there is really, really cool ground, especially compared to anything that they've had before in the past. So yeah, I guess we'll see how this goes. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, we'll see ya.